Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're breaking down a really fascinating analysis that uses artificial intelligence to try and predict the price of XRP. The goal here is to cut through all the usual hype and see what a machine actually thinks could happen by the end of the year.
Okay, so to get into this, we first have to talk about a massive problem in the entire crypto space: price predictions. I mean, we see them everywhere, all the time, but let's be honest, how many of them actually come true? You've all seen these headlines, right? These wild, absolutely crazy forecasts designed to grab your attention. But the analysis we're looking at today points out something we all kind of know. For years, almost none of these predictions have ever hit the mark. It's just this constant cycle of huge promises and, well, missed targets.
So what's the deal here? Why do these predictions keep falling so flat? Is it just that the price targets themselves are completely bonkers? Or is there something else, something bigger at play that almost everyone is getting wrong?
And here is the key insight from the analysis. The real problem isn't necessarily the price they're predicting, it's the timing. See, trying to nail down exactly when a big price move is going to happen is incredibly difficult. I mean, even the huge institutions like Standard Chartered with their 2025 forecast have already missed their own targets. It just goes to show you how tricky timing this market really is.
So if we humans are, not so great at this, what's a better way to do it? What if you could just take all that human emotion, all that hype, completely out of the equation?
That's exactly what the analysis we're breaking down today decided to do. They took a totally different approach and turned to artificial intelligence, specifically one called Grok, to get a purely data-driven perspective. No hype, no human bias, just the cold, hard numbers.
And this, right here, is what makes this whole thing so smart. They didn't just ask the AI, hey, what's the price going to be? No way. They gave it crucial market context. They're talking about Fed rate cuts, market liquidity, a potential crypto reversal. This isn't just a blind guess. It's a conditional analysis based on real-world factors that actually move the needle.
So, after the AI processed all that context, what did it spit out? What did it identify as the absolute biggest drivers for XRP's price by the end of this year? Let's break down its thinking.
So it all boiled down to these three key things. First, a major event in the wider economy. Second, the actual flow of money in the market. And third, the overall mood or sentiment of the crypto space. Let's take a closer look at each one.
First up, a potential interest rate cut from the U.S. Federal Reserve. The markets are pretty much betting on this happening. And historically, when interest rates go down, borrowing gets cheaper, which makes safer investments a lot less attractive. So what do investors do? They start moving their money into what they call risk-on assets, like XRP, looking for bigger returns. That could really light a fire under the price.
Next, improved liquidity. And that's really just a fancy way of saying more cash flowing into the crypto market. The analysis suggests there is a ton of money just sitting on the sidelines right now, just waiting. A Fed cut could be the green light that brings all that capital flooding back into the market, which, as you know, is the fuel for price momentum. And third, a broader market reversal. You know that saying, be greedy when others are fearful? Well, right now, the market sentiment is in extreme fear. And if you look back at the patterns from 2017 and 2021, this exact feeling, it's often what you see right before a massive bull run kicks off. It really could be the calm before the storm.
Okay, so we have those three big factors as our foundation: the Fed, liquidity, and market sentiment. So how does the AI translate all of that into actual numbers? What are the potential outcomes for the price of XRP?
Now, the AI didn't just give out one single number. I mean, that would be too simple, wouldn't it? Instead, it gave us three distinct scenarios. You've got your pessimistic bear case, a more neutral base case, and of course, the super optimistic bull case. And each one depends on how those key factors we just talked about actually play out in the real world. And what's so great about this is how clearly it connects the conditions to the outcomes. The bear case is basically what happens if things get worse from here. The base case is what we can expect if the Fed cut happens and we see a modest recovery. And the bull case? Well, that's the dream scenario where everything goes right. A full market reversal, successful ETFs, the whole shebang.
So, which one is the most likely?
According to the author behind our source analysis, this base case is considered the most plausible, the most accurate scenario. And in that scenario, a 10,000 XRP holding would be worth around $32,500 by the end of the year.
Now, it is absolutely crucial to remember that while the AI gives us this incredible data-driven framework, this is still a prediction. It's a sophisticated forecast for sure, but it is not a financial guarantee by any stretch of the imagination.
And this quote just gets right to the heart of it all. The AI's logic is solid, you can't argue with that. But the final outcome? It all hinges on what happens in the real world. At the end of the day, it all comes down to what the Fed actually does, where the money flows, and what the overall market sentiment looks like.
All of this leaves us with one final, pretty big thought. As artificial intelligence gets more and more sophisticated, how much are we and should we begin to rely on it for our biggest financial decisions? It's definitely something to think about.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.